Happy holidays, everybody. Welcome to Game Day View. Patrick Claybon here with Greg Rosenthal and Cynthia Freeland here in the Chris Wessling Podcast studio. We enjoy football, and what better time to spend this time with football, because football is family. Talking about these games with all these folks and you guys.
Outside of my family, there's no one I would rather be celebrating Christmas and picking games with.
Agreed. This is
model.
My favorite show on the network. This is the best one. I love it so much. You guys are the best here, and you guys at home as well.
They're ripping me for my choice of children. All right, a conversation for earlier. Speaking of all my favorite children here, let's talk about some picks. I was able to go 11-5 last week in the picks, while Greg Rosenthal and Cynthia Freeland both went 10-6, maintaining my lead and that reluctant
extending your lead
crown.
That's a big lead.
No,
This would be his first championship. We're getting close here. The pressure's on.
Yes, I will have to try extra hard to figure things out. And, you know, picking between favorite TV shows and children, it's always tough to make decisions. It's always tough to decide which game we should talk about first in the show, but this week it was easy. Chicago fans, you officially have our attention.
Caleb, play fake, looking to throw, going deep, searching for DJ Moore, over the shoulder, catch, made, touchdown Bears! It's over at Soldier Field. The Iceman cometh, the Iceman taketh a 46-yard spiral to the end zone to DJ Moore. 22-16 Bears.
A wild comeback by the Cardiac Bears last week. Now they've got the Niners Sunday night in Santa Clara. The number one seed, still a possibility for both teams. So who gets a little closer in that aspect, Greg?
I think the San Francisco 49ers do, setting up the battle with the Seahawks potentially for the 1 seed, and it's because of Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, since he came back from injury, has put up production that matches any quarterback in the entire NFL. But what I've really liked out of him is his decision-making. Sometimes he's a guy who has a little too much dip on his chip. He tries throws that he can't really make, that his body can't catch. And yet lately, I don't think he's been making those decisions. He's just finding open receivers because of his play caller, because of the healthy skill position players around him. Hopefully George Kittle is close to 100% for this game. And if you give Brock Purdy good pass protection, he is going to dice you up. This is a mature offense with Trent Williams playing his best ball. And I think against a Bears team that does not rush the passer well, I think they win. And I think Kyle Shanahan gets a little closer to Coach of the Year.
Ooh, well,
extra take there for you.
I like that extra take. You have 6 points, I think, is your differential. I have a 4-point win for the 49ers in this one. Let's just talk about Christian McCaffrey, and let's just talk about the fact that not enough people are at least speaking into existence for him to be the MVP. What's a guy got to do? What's he got to do? He has the most touches in the league, like more than 30. He's doing on the ground, through the air. It doesn't matter. Why does Brock Purdy and his chip-dipping ways get to succeed the way they do? Because you've got Christian McCaffrey to back cleanup for you or do whatever you need to make it happen. Defenses all season long have been well aware that Christian McCaffrey is going to be the focal point of the offense. And look at his results. You can't stop him. So I'm looking at Christian McCaffrey, and I'm saying, whoever's voting for these things, don't settle for comeback player of the year. Don't even settle for offensive player. He should be the MVP. They wouldn't be in this position, but for CMC, they wouldn't be in this position.
Yes, like many times the best receiver on the field for either team. A big part of the game. I'm still taking the Bears, though.
Of course.
I'm taking the Bears. 23-21. It's very difficult to project turnovers, but these Bears make them and take the ball away at the highest rate in the NFL. Jalen Johnson giving up a passer rating of 65, so teams are like, okay, let's throw over here at this. Who is this? Nashawn Wright? He's wearing number 26. They need to stop doing that.
Wright is wrong.
Yes, Wright is the wrong option. He leads the league in interceptions. Brock takes risks. The team invites those risks to be taken. I think they, of course, are going to give up some yards, as the Bears do, but they get a couple of balls that they shouldn't, perhaps, and they lean on DeAndre Swift and that explosive run game and get a win. And oddly enough, an inside track at the number 1 overall seed. Those Chicago Bears. The Bears and Niners could be an instant classic on Sunday night. The Bears have played a couple of them in the last few weeks. We also got some Saturday games this week, including a mega matchup in the AFC. This Saturday, the playoff picture coming into focus on NFL Network. C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans take on Justin Herbert and the Chargers. Rich and Kurt will be on the call with kickoff at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Game day kickoff starts at 2 p.m. this Saturday only on NFL Network. So let's discuss this game a touch more in the AFC between the Texans and the Chargers. Both squads have clinched spots in the playoffs. Houston has won 7 straight. Do they go into SoFi and make it 8 in a row, Cynthia?
They go into SoFi. It's very dramatic. It's Saturday. People are very full, and they're done opening presents, the whole thing. And they take over the game, 21-20, a low-scoring matchup. Both defenses very formidable in this one, but I think it comes down to the duo of Will Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter. Why? Because, as the broken record Cynthia Freeland says, and everyone else, did you know Justin Herbert has taken the most pressures and quarterback hits of any quarterback this season? Oh, yeah, we get it. And when he's under pressure, he throws interceptions. Oh, yeah, okay. But ultimately, this is a different kind of pressure. It's coming from multiple directions. They don't need to blitz. They can use their great secondary to back up what happens up front. So I'm looking at this defensive front and that O-line, and I'm thinking advantage Houston in this matchup.
I agree. I have a Texans win by 3 points, 22-19, because there's teams that have great pass rushes. There's teams that have great players in the secondary, but there's no team that melds both of them together quite like the Houston Texans. I will take D'Amico Ryans over Greg Roman in this matchup every single day and 3 times this Saturday night on NFL Network. Herbert has thrown 9 picks against zone this season between Stingley and Lassiter, and the way that these guys rush the passer, because the pressure numbers show one thing with the Houston Texans, but pressures, especially on next-gen stats, are kind of a proximity alert. But when it's Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. moving at the speed they do, their proximity a little different than everybody else's, Greg.
I thought this was the toughest game to pick of the year, especially because or of the week at the very least.
Okay.
I love these two teams. I think they can each go to the Super Bowl. But you think about that playoff matchup a year ago, and you think about how Justin Herbert was embarrassed, and now he's ready for revenge. The Chargers win a close, low-scoring game, 20-17. We're going to just Greg it up on Saturday, NFL Network. Herbert, put him in the MVP voting conversation. He's at least in my top 5, maybe in my top 3. And what was the takeaway from that playoff game a year ago? It's like, all we got to do, we just got to fix his protection, and then we'll be fine. Everything's caving in on the inside. That's the one thing we're going to do. Hey, they didn't fix any of it. They're worse this year. And you know who's rising above it all? As much as I love C.J. Stroud, Justin Herbert is at a similar level in terms of his talent, but he's further along in his maturity, his experience. He is playing outstanding. He's overcoming his teammate, and he has a great defense backing him up this year. That's one difference, too. Chargers get the victory.
All right, the Texans and Chargers jockeying for better playoff seeding. Another team in the mix, the Buffalo Bills, and you know Josh Allen always ready to cape up.
Josh Allen has to put on the cape every single week. That's a lot to put on his shoulders.
Just play the game. Don't go into it and feel like you've got to be Superman.
Superman, superhuman, most powerful.
Throw on the cape and see the man work. Touchdown, Buffalo! Allen looking for the end zone, and he's in. How is he not your MVP?
I am the GOAT. Challenging worthy contender, I'm at your throat.
He's an alien, isn't he?
Josh Allen is Superman.
Supreme being, homie, can't nobody contest.
Jumped on his back like he was Superman.
No guts, no glory, never break, never fold.
Josh Allen does it again.
Superman, superhuman, most powerful, powerful.
Josh Allen is Superman, meaning some dangerous things for his hometown of Fireball, California. Everybody's safe there, but his Bills play host to the Eagles on Sunday. The matchup, Cynthia's preseason Super Bowl prediction.
Wow.
It could still happen. So what happens on Sunday, Greg?
Looking a lot better than my preseason prediction, Ravens-Lions. I think the Eagles win this game because they've started to look over the last couple weeks like they did late last season because of Saquon Barkley. I just love what I saw in that game against the Commanders, especially. Him breaking tackles, him closing the game out with some explosive runs. It was the Saquon we got used to seeing. For a while, if you were looking at the next-gen stats after these games, it's a lot of rush yards under expected, like a lot of negatives. Last week, way over expected. I think the line is going to be better because Lane Johnson expected to return this week, but maybe it's something about this time of year. It's when Jalen Hurts plays his best, and it's starting to look like it's when Saquon Barkley plays his best, like he did late last season.
I am right there with you, Greg. I've got a big win by the Eagles, 31-26, because even in scenarios where Superman was facing great odds, there was a need for a Justice League. You needed the Green Lantern and Batman, everybody to be involved. You look around Brown on this Buffalo Bills, they're not always anywhere to be found, and he was limited in practice this week, got x-rays at halftime. And then the Bills defense has to go out there and contend with not just Saquon Barkley, but A.J. Brown, who's been targeted at a very high rate when the opposing team lines up in single high coverage. 30% for Jalen Hurts looking in A.J. Brown's direction. He's had over 400 yards and 2 touchdowns against zone coverage since week 9. Things have picked up late this season. I think he gives the Bills secondary problems again in this one, Cynthia.
Well, I guess Bills fans, please come help me out because I'm going to pick you guys to win. So sorry, Eagles fans, I'm going prime number here, a 3-point win for Buffalo at home. So I understand it's very unlikely that the Bills could get the 1 seed, but that could mean that they're playing with a nice level of ease and fun. And looking at their tight ends, this is where the pass catching needs to step up. With Josh Allen's foot being maybe not 100%, maybe the rushing won't be as reliable. What does Joe Brady do? He goes into the little, area of like, hey, I'd like Josh Allen to do this with his Superman stats. Let's just throw to our tight ends. Dalton Kincaid last week, fantasy owners, it was not so great for them. He had exactly 0 catches on 1 target. But we've seen some really fun, dynamic things from all of their tight ends. Dawson Knox, Jackson Hawes, really fun names to say, but ultimately it's that level of the defense that they're going to try to target. I'm not suggesting that it's good to pass against the Eagles defense. I'm just saying that Josh Allen is kind of one of those matchup-proof people, and the tight ends will be the way that he goes up against them.
All right, well, it's time for Who's Eating Good, presented by Applebee's, as Josh Allen limited to just 130 passing yards last week against the Cleveland Browns. Does he throw for over or under 195 against the Eagles?
Oh, we're going over, baby. With that hurt foot, there's less reliance on the run. I'm not suggesting he's not going to run, but I don't think it's going to be fewer designed rushes per se. But I'm also looking at trying to target different areas, different levels of the defense to get quick completion. So it might not be like some crazy deep pass. I think it's going to be a series of shorter passes to keep his foot okay.
Well, we're just getting started here on Game Day View. Coming up, we got 3 huge rivalry games on Christmas Day. Who's bringing their fans in a big W this holiday season? And who's looking to steal your good times like the Grinch? Our answers are coming up next on Game Day View.
Two-man rush coming here for the Steelers. Goff guns towards the end zone. Caught, tackled short of the end zone. There is a flag as Amon-Ra St. Brown was, did they call a whistle? There was a lateral.
The ruling on the field is a touchdown, however. Pass interference, number 14 on the offense. By rule, that penalty is not enforced and there is no replay. The game is over. There is no touchdown.
Very clear explanation as we get to Seize the Season, presented by Caesars Sportsbook, as we look at the first touchdown scorer odds between those Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings. Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, David Montgomery, all leading the way. Also some belief in Aaron Jones, and then it's back to the Lions again with Jameson Williams at plus 900. Detroit almost eking out that win last week, pending a couple of offensive pass interference calls. Now they need to win out and have the Packers lose out for a shot at the playoffs. They've got the Vikings and Max Brosmer on Christmas Day. Cynthia, does your team keep hope alive here?
Yeah. I mean, is hope alive? Anyways, I have them winning 27-20, a 7-point win. Do I love it? Yes, I do. I don't care. It's still Christmas. I love the Lions. It's totally fine. I'm looking at this situation. And, look, Jared Goff, we haven't given him enough. He didn't make the Pro Bowl. That seems ridiculous.
Not ridiculous at all. Who you taking off?
You.
Dak?
No.
Come on.
But I don't know. At least, I don't know. I feel like it was a slight. The man's been playing very well considering everyone on the defense has been, watching from the sidelines or their hospital rooms, unfortunately.
He's been playing great. I do want to put that on the record.
Yes, he has been playing. But I will say in this one, he's going to look better against the blitz. Last week against this Pittsburgh blitz, we saw something weird. He was like 4 for 12 for 33 yards. Something crazy. That is not normal for him. This is a guy who usually top 2, top 3 in the league against the blitz in almost every single metric. They're used to the Minnesota blitz, so I think it looks very good. And yes, I still love my Lions. The only thing worse than watching that play was the fact that my neighbors, whatever they're watching on, is 10 seconds ahead of me.
Oh.
You can imagine.
Party foul in the neighborhood.
What? It was awful.
So
somebody get me better internet for Christmas.
You're mad Jared Goff didn't make the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
You want Sam Darnold off or something.
I just want him on. I'm not trying to take someone off.
That's how it works. When people, you got to take someone off to put someone on. You're just lucky that Max Brosmer hasn't been starting all year, or he might have gotten one of those Pro Bowl spots. It's going to be a holiday miracle. Max Brosmer covers on the big day.
Okay,
Look at that 3rd and 17 to Justin Jefferson. Not a lot of other big highlights last week.
We got the screen pass. He really dialed it up.
We should just be replaying the 3rd and 17 opposite hash to JJ. Look, Justin Jefferson made about 4 or 5 plays in that game that only Justin Jefferson can make. I think Max Brosmer can run the offense, and most importantly here, and I know I'm talking about Brosmer even though I have the Lions winning, he's playing a defense which has been at the very bottom of the league. It's a lot of talk about Dan Campbell and the running game and Jared Goff when the defense has been really their problem lately.
If you're a Lions fan who has a problem with Dan Campbell or anyone in the offense, see me. See me in my office.
Oh, no.
Oh, Cynthia's ready to fight.
I am. I'm
liquid courage.
Rolling up the sleeve.
I'm going to bite some kneecaps.
Especially after Greg gives the false choice that's imposed on everybody. Well, we can't give this person what he deserves because then we can't give this other person.
There's literally only 3 spots on the Pro Bowl.
It's a choice to facilitate that particular circumstance.
I hate when people are like, oh, you got to put him on the Pro Bowl without saying who you're going to take off. There's only 3 spots.
Our critique is of something else, Greg. Okay. We're critiquing something else. My model also indicates a Lions win here because Aiden Hutchinson and this Lions team, unfortunately, they couldn't close it out against the Steelers, but Aiden Hutchinson in the 4th quarter has more pressures than anybody else in the NFL. 39 pressures in the 4th quarter, 7 more than any other player. The Lions are going to get up. And unfortunately for 2025 NFL League MVP Max Brosmer, according to NFL Network's Greg Rosenthal, Aiden Hutchinson is going to make that difficult.
Hope that gets picked up.
It's got to cover.
Seize the Season is brought to you by Caesar Sportsbook. New users can get their first bet matched by up to $250, win or lose. Must be 21 or older. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. With NFL Plus, keep the NFL in reach. Stream live, local, and primetime games on mobile during the regular and postseason. NFL Network, including one more exclusive live game this season, live game audio, and more with NFL Plus Premium. Get more football with NFL RedZone, game replays, and NFL Pro. Sign up today at plus.nfl.com/network. Terms and conditions apply. Time for 2-Minute Drill, presented by the Wells Fargo Active Cash Credit Card. Let's make some quick picks for the 2 other Christmas Day games. We will start with the Cowboys and Commanders. Dallas was officially eliminated from playoff contention last week, but they're playing for pride, Greg. It's Christmas, and this is America's team. What happened?
They're also playing for numbers. You know who made the Pro Bowl? George Pickens. What a season. What a story. They put up 31 points, and I think they entertain the masses with an offensive shootout. I love Pickens' catches he had last week, where there was a late back shoulder. Look at his late speed here where he separates right as the ball gets there and makes it look like it was an easy throw all along. Every target to George Pickens is entertaining. You never know what's going to happen. And between him and CeeDee Lamb, I just think you see a lot of points against a vulnerable Commanders defense.
Christmas night, the Broncos and the Chiefs. Denver had their 11-game win streak snapped last week against Trevor Lawrence and the Jags. Do they bounce back, Cynthia?
Yes, they bounce back, and they bounce back big. They still want a shot at that #1 seed, so the Super Bowl would have to go through Denver. So Bo Nix, what we've seen from him is improvement. Now, the first beginning of the game, the first 2 go passes looked incredible last week. Then things got a little bit left. Now we need to see them get back in rhythm, because if this team wants to have those Super Bowl aspirations that Sean Payton talked about ahead of the season, then they're going to need to keep him in rhythm. And I think this is a good opportunity against the Chiefs team that's, this is not the Chiefs team we're usually used to talking about, but they also have pride. Just, pride that's a thing. So I'm looking at them, and even though it's not the same game we would thought, it's still a big one.
How do they get to 8 points, Patrick?
Well, I think they get
go for 2.
They get a touchdown. They go for 2.
Okay.
It's late. Andy Reid has a lot of pride.
How about a Travis Kelce octopus in his last game?
Yes.
At home in Arrowhead Stadium.
Wow. Congratulations on a great career.
I don't know that for sure, but it could be. Probably is.
Just a reminder, this
breaking
Christmas,
news here.
unwrap all-day football with the NFL holiday games. It all starts with the Cowboys and Commanders and Lions and Vikings on Netflix. Then a primetime showdown on Prime Video. Broncos, Chiefs. 3 games, 1 epic holiday. For the full schedule, visit watch.nfl.com. When we return, we've got a huge interconference showdown on Saturday night in Lambeau. The Ravens and the Packers, both teams' backs against the wall. The playoffs on the line. Who comes out victorious? We'll tell you what we think. Coming up next on Game Day View. Higher stakes, lower prices. Score NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV for a new lower price, now only $60 for new users for the rest of the season. Sign up now. Terms and embargoes apply. Ravens, Packers, Saturday night in Lambeau. Baltimore needs to win out for a shot at the playoffs. Green Bay trying to hold on to that 7 seed in the NFC. Both teams' star quarterbacks questionable. How's this one go, considering what we do know right now, Cynthia?
We know that at least Jordan Love's been practicing, same with Josh Jacobs. So that helps me feel better about my model picking Green Bay to win 24-20 in this matchup. But one thing I kind of know is what this defense looks like now that Micah Parsons isn't there, right? We saw a change, then we have to figure some things out. Of course, the Bears mounted this massive comeback last week. What did we see? Well, I think that they got, there you're seeing that's a pretty good guy who they missed. But ultimately, Jeff Hafley will have some answers, be they simulated pressures, which is something we saw a lot of last season. But I do think that 1-game adjustment or 2-game adjustment, that needed to happen so that now going forward against the Ravens, and we know Derrick Henry's going to run for, hopefully be on the field for more of it if you're a Ravens fan. But ultimately, I think that the defense will get right in this situation.
The ideal matchup in terms of the quarterbacks would obviously be Jordan Love versus Lamar Jackson.
Yes.
But you can shake up any matchup in terms of the quarterbacks that you want, and I am still picking the Packers in this game. I have it 27-23.
4
if
points.
it ends up being Tyler Huntley starting, I make it over 7 and whatever the number is. It's partly because the Packers are just a more balanced team overall. I trust their defense even without Micah Parsons to make it difficult, and I trust this guy, Emmanuel Wilson, to contribute in the running game. Josh Jacobs is practicing. It's probably going to be a 1-2 punch, but he is a really good downhill, tough runner. Ultimately, I think the Packers are a Super Bowl contending type of team, whereas the Ravens have the look of a team that they're just not going to get it done this season. And sometimes at the end of a season like that, it goes sideways in a big way when you're playing another competitive team. So I like the Packers no matter what happens at quarterback.
Yeah, I have also taken the Green Bay Packers here. The 24-19 for me. The Ravens have the 4th lowest pressure rate in the entire league going into Week 17. Considering that everything this defense has been able to do, as good as the numbers have looked, they have that streak of keeping teams under 20 points. It was a huge anomaly to accomplish the things that they have been able to accomplish. Drake May kind of exposed that lack of a pass rush last week. If it is Jordan Love, more power to the Green Bay Packers and their passing game. And I think if we were to expect, again, having this conversation before we know anything, if Lamar was going to be able to play in this game, then he probably would have come back in against the New England Patriots. So perhaps an off season of new beginnings for the Baltimore Ravens. We go from the Ravens to the team they're chasing in the AFC North, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh went into Detroit last week and made magic happen.
Rodgers back and is going to throw right and deep again. A lot of contact downfield. Did Gainwell catch that?
He did.
Holy mackerel. He was laying down on the ground supine. Caught it, picked it up, ran it into the end zone. And, I think he caught it.
No, that's a catch.
Max, I think he caught it.
It hit his right elbow, bounced up into his body. He spun up.
This is incredible.
The Steelers held on to beat the Lions 29-24 last week. They're in the driver's seat in the AFC North. They've got a big one with the Browns on Sunday, but they will not have DK Metcalf due to a 2-game suspension that was upheld in the middle of the week. So what happens in this clash, Greg?
I think DK's absence hurts them. It's a man-to-man defense for the Browns, but ultimately it's the Steelers' defense that keeps the score low. It's 23-13 for the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game because Aaron Rodgers is playing his best ball of the year. To paraphrase a very famous tweet back in the day, unfortunately, I think you do have to hand it to him,
Shout out to Drill.
Yeah, Drill, getting it done. I'm not putting Aaron Rodgers at the same, level of public enemy as what was referred to in that tweet, but look at these long passes. It's been a different offense. Everyone's been killing him for his average depth of target all season and how quickly he's getting rid of the ball. If you look at the numbers over the last 3 weeks, they're back way up in terms of where he's throwing the ball. They're hitting some 3rd and 10s. They've been more aggressive. He's been more willing to hold the ball, and I think that's really important as they go down the stretch run.
How many times this year has my score been lower than yours for any team? Anyways, so I have 12 points for Cleveland. I have 20 for Pittsburgh. A very low scoring game is what I project. I'm looking at Jaylen Warren, his ability to catch especially shorter passes. You talked about, you've seen the numbers for Aaron Rodgers. I also believe that they're sitting there being like, do you really want the Myles Garrett highlight of breaking the sack record to be on you, Aaron Rodgers? Just like the Bills said it last week, I think Aaron Rodgers is kind of thinking the same thing, like, please don't have me be the guy in the low light. I don't want to be on the wrong side of the highlight. He likes to be on the right side of the highlight. Did you not see his post-game interview? Yeah, he likes to let you know. But ultimately, I'm looking at Jaylen Warren's ability to be so multiple. Both of these running backs, really. Run game, pass game, that's going to be a difference maker, especially in time of possession. Now that poor Quinshon Judkins, best wishes for him. A speedy recovery for next season. He was so fun to watch.
It's going to make it all the sweeter, though, when Myles Garrett just like rips around their 4th-string left tackle and sacks Aaron Rodgers without him even knowing it's coming, because that's how good Myles Garrett is. It's going to be a big one.
Will Aaron Rodgers be like, I had a pretty good game here 10 years ago?
Yes, because if there's anything that Aaron Rodgers likes, it's attention, an opportunity to talk about all things Aaron Rodgers. And I think, to Greg's point, Aaron Rodgers has been playing good football because the rest of the team around him has been very good, especially in the second half. I've got the Steelers by 7. Going back, let's go to the last couple of weeks in the second half. They run the ball great. Go back 4 weeks. The Steelers are averaging 6.2 yards per carry in the second half of these games. And Kenny G is not just doing it. Well, shout out to Kenny G's holiday album, but this is another Kenny G during the holiday season that's going off right now in the run and the pass game. Yes, unfortunately for Alex Anzalone and Lions fans, he made that play. But all around, he's been one of the more consistent parts of this offense. Yes, like the luxury is DK Metcalf, but the meat and potatoes is Jaylen Warren and Kenny G. More to come here on Game Day View. The Seahawks pulled off a miraculous comeback last week against the Rams. Do you have any Christmas magic left? They're heading to Carolina to take on a frisky Panthers team. Our picks for Seahawks, Panthers coming up next on Game Day View.
Here comes their best 2-point play. Darnold throws, caught for the 2 points. Eric Saubert. What a game.
What a group, man. What a freaking football team you guys are. What a football team, man. What a freaking Seahawks. Let's go. That's what we do, man. We are in the playoffs. We are in the game.
Seahawks with that remarkable comeback win in overtime against the Rams last week at home. Now they're going across the country to take on Carolina in the NFC South, where the Panthers have the lead in the division now. Bryce Young's team has slayed some giants recently. Do they get out the big axe and chop down the Seahawks?
They do not. A Cinderella slipper can be put back on next week against the Bucs, and they still win the division. But the Seahawks are in a different class. It's because of their head coach, Mike McDonald. I mentioned Kyle Shanahan as a potential coach of the year. I think Week 18, Seahawks 49ers will not only decide the 1 seed and the NFC West, but it will decide Coach of the Year. And my pick right now would be the guy who took a team that most people did not have in the playoffs, who's built up his defense to the #1 defense in the league over the last 2 seasons, who's made great hires. They have the best special teams in the league too. And I think will be the type of team down the stretch against a team like the Panthers, who just aren't as talented, who outclasses them. They see the finish line. They'll know how important this game is. And as great as the Panthers have been, they are limited defensively. I think the Seahawks put up a lot of points and win this game comfortably.
I'm with you on all of that, especially. So sometimes I look at Mike McDonald and I realize he's only 38, but he like already looks like a wise old man that you would want to be following. Anyways, my score, I don't remember your margin. I have an 8-point margin. 26-18 is mine. Yours is a little bit bigger, but ultimately I'm looking at the run game here. I think as much as we talk about Sam Darnold throwing, which he is great at, especially when you have Jackson Smith and Jigba, what they've really done is a foundation of running the football with Kenneth Walker, who has had a year where he's really, you talk about people looking to get paid. Kenneth Walker, anyone? Yeah, that's going to be a nice contract for him going forward. So I'm looking at slowing the game down and kind of hitting the Panthers where it hurts the most, which is in the run game. And I think Kenneth Walker provides the foundation yet again so that there's no turnovers. There's no weird stuff. Kind of get it going because there's a big one. You talked about the big one for the Panthers next week. There is a huge one for the Seahawks next week against the Niners.
And you didn't know this, but there might be a little more Kenneth Walker later in the show.
Oh.
That's a tease.
That's a deep tease. In fact,
Deep tease.
the rare potential double trap game for both teams is maybe the effort questionable for everybody. Nothing fun here going on. It's unanimous. I've got the Seahawks as well, 24-19. I would like to look at a great matchup that we're going to see in the secondary in this game where J.C. Horn has a chance to go up against Jackson Smith and Jigba and all of the things he's accomplished through the air for the Seattle Seahawks. Notice one thing about these J.C. Horn highlights. None of them were from this game, this most recent game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Why? They threw at him 0 times. He covered Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, 0 targets for J.C. Horn.
Wow.
Seems like a smart strategy.
Yeah.
Don't throw in his coverage.
We'll see if Sam makes that decision. Coming up, looking forward to this game. It's time for the feel-good story of the week presented by Geico. Cynthia, which team's quarterback more likely to throw 2 touchdowns in this game? Is it Sam or Bryce?
Well, we have big scores for both of them, so I think both easily could. But I'm looking at Sam Darnold for 2. You saw when the highlights, like you see A.J. Barner, the barn dog, you see him being lifted up. So, of course, Jackson Smith and Jigba has a really good opportunity to make it to the end zone. But I want to talk about the barn dog here because, for me, A.J. Barner could be – that's his
How about
name.
the barnyard dog?
Nope, just the
No?
barn dog. I think it probably is the barnyard dog, but we're changing it here because I messed it up, and we're just going to go with that. The barnyard dog, I don't care. I like him. I think he gets in the end zone, too.
Barn dog!
I'm seeing Barnstormer, but Barn Dog works.
I like barns
We
and
support
dogs.
barn dogs.
B-dog.
Shout out to any dogs that are in any barns within earshot of our voices right now. Let's look at the highest totals in Week 17, according to our friends at Caesar Sportsbook. Congratulations on the Cincinnati Bengals once again.
There you are.
On this graphic, 53 points. Second highest score, Bears, Niners. Looking forward to these games. Let's make some quick picks here on game debut. Rams-Falcons expected to be high scoring as well. They square off Monday night in Atlanta. Sean McVay's team looking to bounce back from last week. Do they do it in the ATL?
They absolutely do. And usually with the Rams, it's like, let's try to pick something surprising and new. How about we just talk about Matthew Stafford? I haven't done that enough this season. Coming off a ridiculous performance against the Seattle Seahawks, it is truly stupid that people think QB wins should hurt him in the MVP conversation after that performance. I mean, he had some moments. That shot against Tapuka Nakua, he had the one in overtime. And then this no look at the start of the fourth quarter. Obviously, the game went sideways, but he knows what Raheem Morris's defense is kind of want to do. It's got to blitz a lot. You can't really outsmart Matthew Stafford and blitz him. I think he'll find some major problems in the Falcons secondary.
Let's go elsewhere in that division. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Dolphins. Tampa's lost 6 of their last 7. They're in must-win mode. Do they get that need that they must get, Cynthia?
They do. 26-21 is the win for Tampa. I just want to talk about Mike Evans for a minute because when you're thinking about the things that were different and what's gotten better, and his return has made a huge difference. I mean, he caught a touchdown last week. I know it wasn't in a win, but you're just looking at the opportunity on the field to pass and what Baker Mayfield's contending with. And it just is so much better when you have Mike Evans. Plus, things a little messy maybe in Miami, so I think they take advantage of this and kind of figure out a way to get Mike Evans going.
I got a bad feeling about this. I might have to flip my pick.
All right.
I know it's too late in
win?
the show. I just got a bad feeling.
All right. Greg's bad feelings. Stay tuned on all your social channels. The Cardinals and the Bengals in the Natty. Joe Burrow carved up the Finns last week. I think they win again here with a score of 32-28. And, a high-scoring game as is projected. But let's talk about this Arizona Cardinals defense. It has been a rough go down the stretch. Weeks 13, 14, 15, and 16. The opponent has got 7 yards per carry. They've run for 603 yards, 6 touchdowns. Pass defense hasn't been great either. I think the Bengals put up huge numbers. Still to come, Trevor Lawrence and the Jags, the hottest team in the league. So hot right now. They've won 6 straight, and a win against the Colts Sunday would clinch the AFC South, but old man Rivers might have something to say about that. Who wins? Jags, Colts. Our thoughts coming up next on Game Debut.
dropping, looking, throws another back from SETN. Tells to make him miss, does to the 5. Dots on the goal line, touchdown! 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 A 10-yard touchdown pass to Travis Etienne. The Jags have extended the lead. How good is that?
It's time for The Read, presented by Microsoft Copilot. Microsoft Copilot, your AI companion for NFL game day and every day. The Red Hot Jags going to Indy. We asked Copilot which matchup will decide who wins the game. And Copilot says Jacksonville's passing attack versus the Colts' banged-up secondary. Indy's D has been shredded the past few weeks, and Trevor Lawrence is on one of the best stretches of his entire career. Allow us humans to discuss this matchup between those Jags and the Colts. Jacksonville putting the league on notice going into Denver, getting a huge win. The Phillip Rivers experiment has been going fairly well in Indy. What do you think takes place, Cynthia?
I think a close game, but I think that the Jags win this one 26-24. When I'm looking at Trevor Lawrence, me and Microsoft Copilot agree that the opportunity to find areas of the defense to exploit is what's going to matter. But I'm not so much worried because we could get Sauce Gardner back. I'm not really looking at the past. I'm looking at the circumstance right now. There are other pieces missing. But I think that Jacoby Myers and I think that Brenton Strange, yes, you heard me, Brenton Strange. I think that all of the different pass catchers, they have now gotten into sync with Trevor Lawrence. So even in harder to navigate situations like the Broncos defense, they've been connecting on what I'd call like tougher level of effort passes, right? You know how in gymnastics scores, like, you know, like the routine can be harder. They're now doing the more difficult routines. So I'm looking at this, and even though I think it'd be great to see Sauce Gardner back, especially if you're a Colts fan, I still think advantage to what Trevor Lawrence has got going on in this pass game.
You know who's been hitting some high degree of difficulty throws? Phillip Rivers. Because you don't know how tough it is. He doesn't have the arm strength. He doesn't necessarily have the athleticism. He's doing all with canny, timing, and rhythm.
Mind games.
And smarts, and accuracy, and a funky throwing motion that's looked the same since he was 19 years old, playing at NC State, getting it done. I have a high-scoring game. If you made the list of reasons why the Colts did not win on Monday night, Phillip Rivers was not even on it, as far as I'm concerned. They were averaging 4.5 points per possession deep into the fourth quarter, and then it caved in a little bit. I think I see a similar type of game here where the Colts defense just can't match up against a Jaguars team that I believe Patrick Claybon told me was averaging how many points since the bye? Was it 33?
Yeah.
How many points did I give him today?
33.
Whoa.
That's Larry Bird's number. That's sacred.
Yes.
Or maybe you read the research packet.
Either way. Greg is always in the materials. I am right there with Cynthia and Greg. I've got a Jacksonville Jaguars win. But I do want to say, if you're able to come back and play football at 44 years old, you're a significant athlete, as Phillip Rivers has always been. But let's discuss Monteric Brown. I don't want to get you guys confused with Buster Brown, the comic character that debuted in 1902 in the New York Post. But this is Monteric Brown. He occasionally goes by Buster, and he got targeted twice by Bo Nix last week, allowed 0 catches. Of course, best wishes to Pat Bryant, who Brown had a huge hit on late in that game, but he just made it so difficult for those Broncos to make plays through the air. And I just wanted to point out another good player in that Jags secondary, as the Jags, pretty good looking team in the AFC. Lawrence and Rivers able to both be top 5 picks in the NFL draft at one point. Let's take a look at the projected draft order in 2026 as we got the Giants, Raiders, and Browns right there at the top, with the Jets and the Titans. 3 wins for the teams at the bottom, 2 for the teams at the top or the bottom, depending on your perspective. The Giants and Raiders facing off Sunday in a game that has some big implications regarding the number 1 overall pick in the draft. So who wins here and misses out, because we still do this draft thing, Greg?
I know you're not a fan of how they order the draft. I think you got something to it. Maybe we get a lottery going at some point, and maybe if that happened, the Giants wouldn't have landed Abdul Carter, who's playing well the last few weeks. He's taking it serious. And they asked Dexter Lawrence after the game, like, has it shown that he's taken some lessons from it? And he's like, he's got to do it more than 1 week. I was like, whoa, Dex, just be easy on the kid. He's making a lot of plays. He's got to help your team out. You're giving me a just Greg against the Las Vegas Raiders? I don't care who's playing them. I'm just Gregging all day, sight unseen. I don't care if they're playing a high school team. I'm taking them against the Raiders.
Okay. We watched the Giants last week. The Saints and the Titans. Tennessee currently projected to have the 5th pick in the draft, but they've looked a little bit better lately. Who wins this matchup between two of the better rookies at the quarterback position, Cynthia?
Have we now, from one win over the Titans, we're now going, or over the Chiefs, now you're going to crown the Titans? No, it's still the freaking Saints. Tyler Shuck, he is sick of hearing about how Cam Ward's so much better than him. All he's been doing is been deep passing his way to wins with Chris Olave. He's done a good job of navigating a really bad circumstance without being like, hey guys, me over here. Everyone said they should have taken other people. What? No, Tyler Shuck's looking great, and I think you guys are insane.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that going in.
I mean, this one's also.
I should have known, Patrick. This was a very Patrick move. He's still riding high after taking him against the Chiefs last
Yeah,
week.
that
was a good one.
Well, yeah, things are going great over here in my situation. The Patriots and the Jets. Gang Green still looking for the elusive first interception of the season. I'm not sure they get it here. I like New England to win 32-16 because, look, it's been a tough go as we look back at some of the things that have taken place against this Jets team, where everybody's getting healthy in any different number of ways, whether running, passing. It's a rough go. 32-16. Feels
We're
solid.
being generous to the Jets. They have lost the last 3 weeks by an average of 25.
Look at Greg's score, 24-6.
Yeah, again, that's generous. That's way closer than they've been in 3 weeks.
When we come back, it's time to let Greg have that freak flag fly because he's hit his player props 2 weeks in a row. One more time, and he's on fire. Boom shakalaka. Shout out to NBA Jam, our favorite props of the week. Coming up next on Game Debut. This Christmas, unwrap all-day football with the NFL holiday games featuring Cowboys versus Commanders, Lions versus Vikings on Netflix, and then a primetime showdown on Prime Video. Broncos versus Chiefs. 3 games, 1 epic holiday. For the full schedule, visit watch.nfl.com. And enjoy your holiday season, folks. It's time for Write This Down. That's our gift to you as we get some prop predictions for Week 17. That leadoff, Greg.
Well, I'm giving out an extra pick for Christmas.
2
Write This Down. It's a theme here. The Rams and the Seahawks are the 2 best teams in the entire NFL. They're both going to win big, and their rushing stars are going to have big numbers. So Kyren Williams for the Rams in this game goes over 63.5 rushing yards. That's against the Falcons. And then Kenneth Walker III goes over 53 rushing yards against the Panthers. I really see scenarios where both these teams, needing big-time wins, overwhelm their opponents, who, by the way, are 2 very poor teams against ground attacks, especially the Arizona Cardinals. So I feel great about that Walker pick, but Kyren Williams, he gets it done too. 2-0. I got to catch up on Patrick.
Well, okay, but that was CeeDee Lamb to have at least 6 catches against the Commanders on Christmas. He got snubbed for the Pro Bowl. That's right. Maybe you should have taken George Pickens. I don't even care. I like CeeDee Lamb better because I think he is the one who, to me, in this matchup, the more reliable opportunity here for at least 6 receptions. I also think there's an epic kind of historical data point here that he or Justin Jefferson could, at the end of the season, they both have already broken a record from Jarvis Landry for the most receptions in a player's first 6 seasons. Who's going to be it at the end of the season? CeeDee Lamb. That's my pick.
Yes, because only one can be good. Folks, you know, Christmas, you get new presents, you get new consoles. Occasionally, you need to remember, you got to get outside. Running outside is what DeAndre Swift excels in this Bears offense, and I think they go into Santa Clara, and he goes for over 60 yards against the number 25 ranked defense at defending the outside run. Ben Johnson knows what he's doing when he's calling the plays. He puts the guys in position to be successful, and I think you can put yourself in a good position if you take note of the opportunity for DeAndre Swift.
Epic ho ho ho. That was so good.
You liked it?
No, I didn't like it. I loved it.
Get a host that can do more. He can be Santa Claus.
Thanks for watching Game Debut. For Cynthia Freeland and Greg Rosenthal, I'm Patrick Claybon. Happy holidays, everybody. We'll see you next week.